Hi and welcome everybody to a new video on my channel. I'm super excited about this one because today we're doing something a little bit different. I'll be comparing my most expensive point and shoot camera, just this Leica Minilux, to the cheapest point and shoot camera I own, which is this Samsung AF333. I'm really excited because this camera is worth about 1,000 euros and this camera I paid $9 for. So for those who are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Valentin. I'm a photographer based in Berlin and I also do YouTube videos. I will just quickly give you like an overview of the structure of the video. In the first part of the video, I will be just briefly talking about the two different cameras. This won't be very in detail, it will be more like a kind of 60-second overview. In the second part of the video, we will be going out and shooting one roll through each of the cameras. Towards the end of the video, we will do an in-detail comparison of the results, looking at the sharpness, how many times did the cameras need the flash, what was the focus like. So all of that is coming towards the end of the video. And then I'm also gonna draw a little conclusion. If you need a 1,000 euro point and shoot, do you just need a 10 euro point and shoot? What are the differences and what do you get from paying $1,000 for a point and shoot camera? And let's jump into the mini reviews of the cameras. So the Leica Minilux is definitely one of the most looked after point and shoot cameras. It comes in this beautiful titanium finish. It has a wonderful 40mm 2.4 lens, so very good aperture for a point and shoot. And what makes this camera special is the fact that you can choose both the camera's aperture, but you can also choose the focusing distance of the camera. So in a way you have almost full manual control over the features of this camera. It also comes with exposure compensation mode. This camera is pretty much everything you would want in a premium point and shoot. For the review, I did not do any manual controls on this camera. I just let the camera do whatever it thought was right, because the Samsung AF333, I'm kind of getting tired of saying that name, but yeah, the Samsung AF basically does not really have any manual controls. So I thought it would be fair to let the Leica just do what the Leica wants to do and let the Samsung do what it wants to do. So let's talk a little bit about the Samsung. It has a 35mm lens, so a little bit wider than the Leica, but still very similar. The maximum aperture is 4.5, so it's a decent aperture, I would say. You don't really have any control over what this camera is gonna do. One thing that I can already tell you that I really like about the Samsung is its viewfinder. It has a massive viewfinder. The viewfinder is literally probably like 4 times the size of the Leica. Here you can see the tiny window on the Leica and there you can see the huge viewfinder on the Samsung. One last thing that I really want to mention is the film that I'm shooting. So I put some fresh Kodak gold in both of these cameras. So it's the same film, obviously, because otherwise this would be kind of nonsense. Let us jump into the footage that I filmed of me being outside and taking photos, and let's compare the photographs. So for the first part of the roll, I went around my neighborhood. It was really early in the morning. I had just woken up, but I saw that there was some sunlight outside, so I decided to just pack the two cameras and go out and see what the day brings. These two photographs are part of a series that I'm working on right now, where I'm photographing entryways into houses. Please don't expect these photographs to be bangers or anything like that. I just went out and whatever I found interesting, I wanted to use as an example photograph to see how the cameras match up. As you can see, the weather got worse, but I still wanted to try these cameras out. Here you can see the beautiful, bright and big viewfinder of the Samsung AF in comparison to the tiny viewfinder of the Leica Minilux. These are some photographs of stones that are also part of a series I'm working on. I'll show you some more photographs right now. Here we can have one more look at the beauty of the Leica Minilux and the Samsung AF. I wanted to photograph this tree, and I'm really surprised of how these two cameras rendered the scene. The Leica exposed it way brighter, and I actually prefer the photograph of the Samsung. I don't know what was up this summer, but somehow it wasn't really sunny. It was more rainy, cloudy, and just kind of moody. So for the second part of the roll, I went out the day after. The weather was pretty horrendous, and I won't do so much talking. I'll just go let you look at the photographs, and then I'll see you in a minute or so back home in my living room, ready to talk about the results and kind of my experience with the cameras. So welcome back everybody. For me it's a couple of days already since I talked to you, so I just looked at the photographs of the two cameras of the Samsung AF and the Leica Minilux, and in the beginning when I did this video I kind of thought that I already knew how it was gonna go, that obviously the Leica was gonna produce much sharper images and nicer ones, but I thought that the Samsung definitely had a chance. But since I've never used the Samsung before, I just picked it up recently and I thought it would be a cool idea to make a video about it. I didn't know what I was in for, and it kind of backfired on me. So let us now jump into a in-detail look at some select photographs. Now we are seeing the two contact sheets. The first one was the Leica Minilux and this one is the one of the Samsung. Here I would just want to show you what a difference it makes in terms of focal length, in terms of how wide the shot is. So the first thing that I noticed was that the Samsung used the flash way more often. This is the first image of the roll. Here you can see the Leica Minilux working with the available light. And then in the second image that we can see right here, the Leica Minilux was also just shooting with the available light, whereas the Samsung AF used the flash. I gotta say though that the flash doesn't feel bad in these photographs. I think in the first one it came out a bit overexposed, so it could have used a little less flash, but in the second photograph I think the flash is barely noticeable and I really like the way it looks. Here we can see the photograph of the two pigeons. I think the Samsung is still doing decently. Here we can see the Minilux picture in comparison, but in the upcoming photographs, especially here in this portrait, the Minilux shines, whereas the Samsung completely misses focus. We can see here the direct comparison, and then this kind of urban shot with the Leica Minilux, again very nice. Samsung AF just failed to focus for some reason. The next couple of photographs are ones where I think that the Samsung AF did actually quite decently. So here we can see a set of stones that I photographed. I just wanted to go in a little bit closer, where you can see comparison. Okay, the Minilux is actually sharper. In this photograph of this car, the cameras are pretty much head to head. I think that the Samsung performs really well. This is the picture where the Samsung AF performed nicer than the Minilux. So you can see the AF having a nice kind of exposure, whereas the Minilux overexposed it a little too much for my taste. So my theory is honestly that this camera doesn't really have an autofocus. It has more of like a fixed focus, which is set to about 1.5 or 2 meters, which equals to like 5 feet. That's why most of the photographs that I took that should have been at infinity focus were just completely missed. Now in the last segment of this comparison, I just want to take a quick second to appreciate the sharpness of the Leica Minilux. So I've taken a couple of photographs where I just want to zoom in a little bit. I gotta say, I didn't get the highest quality of scans, so take it with a grain of salt. Also, YouTube is doing some compression, but I think it is pretty impressive to see the sharpness that a point-and-shoot lens can give you. Another point that we have to take into consideration here is the fact that when I was taking the photos, it was really bad weather and I had ISO 200 film in my cameras. It might have looked a little bit different if we were outside and the sun was just blasting and the Samsung could have stopped down a little bit. But generally speaking, I thought it was going to be a much closer race. When I started this comparison, I thought that the Samsung was also going to be delivering, but I was completely wrong. The Samsung, for some reason, just kind of sucked. Could be a nice camera for some people who like this kind of vibe, you know. Once I actually sold a camera and the person wanted to return the camera to me because the lens was too sharp. So yeah, for these kind of people it might be the perfect camera. But otherwise I'm actually kind of stunned still, because I just looked at the photographs like 5 minutes ago and I didn't expect it to be such a huge difference. Do you need to buy a 1,000 euro point-and-shoot camera to get these kind of results? Honestly, I don't think so. I think you have options like the Olympus Miu 2 or Olympus Miu 1, or there's the Nikon L35 AF. Honestly, there are a lot of really good options out there that can get you very close to what the Leica is giving you. If you want to be able to select your aperture, select your focusing distance, have a titanium body, and do exposure compensation, these kind of functions are already on a very high level. So there's only a handful of cameras that are going to be able to do that, and there you're probably going to have to pay a pretty steep price for that. But as I said, my Olympus Miu 2 is one of my all-time favorite cameras that I love to use, and it has produced some stellar images just doing what it does without any aperture control or anything like that. I have actually done a long-term review on the Olympus Miu 2 that I'm linking up in the right corner, so if you're interested in that, make sure to check it out. Additionally, I gotta say that this Leica is just a little bit too heavy for me when you compare it to other point-and-shoot cameras. The titanium body feels nice, but oftentimes when I'm thinking should I take the Minilux, I'd rather just take my M6. It's a little bit bigger, but not that much actually. So that was also the reason why I didn't end up using this beautiful Minilux as much as I had wanted to or intended to, because it's a little bit on the bulkier side, on the heavier side for a point-and-shoot camera. So oftentimes when I thought about going out and taking one camera with me, I would either take a proper camera like my Leica M6 or my Contax G-1, or I would gravitate towards taking my Olympus Miu or even my Ricoh GR3, because they are much smaller. Here we have the direct comparison with the Contax, so let's get the lens out and popping so we can see. It's not that big of a difference, honestly. About the same kind of feel to it. Yeah, the Contax is a little bit heavier, but not that much, and it makes a big difference for me, at least, to be able to select everything. And yeah, I don't know, the Contax has just a nicer feel to it than the Leica Minilux. That's it, everyone. I really appreciate you looking at this review, and I hope you found it at least a little bit insightful. I thought it was a cool thing to try out. I'm kind of sad that the AF wasn't really competition to the Minilux. I was hoping at least to kind of see some good photos coming out of that camera, but I'm thinking maybe I'll compare the Minilux to my Olympus Miu 2 in a future video. This camera is probably gonna go. I'm not really planning on holding on to it after seeing those test photos, but yeah, as I said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to check out more of my work, I have my website linked down in the description below. Also, you can hop on over to Instagram, check out the stuff that I'm posting on there. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Enjoy yourself. Go out, shoot some film. And if you have anything to say, let me know down in the comments below.